Good night, everyone. Tonight, my name is Sarah Michelle Spiritual. I'm here to give you some news on tonight. And the title gonna be death penalty, bang. So I bang death penalty only to be used if we have it on video, if we have a witness. Are they stated themselves that they commit this crime? And then there can be death penalty. So the point of death penalty is capital punishment. Martial capital punishment often defend, on the grounds that society has a moral obligation to protect, the safety and the welfare of its citizens. So murder, threaten, this safety and welfare, only by putting murderers to death, can society ensure that the conviction killer do not kill again. So that's the purpose, of the death penalty. You know, the rules is to recommend a sentence of death. The jury must determine that the defendant, had, with respect to the victim death, and most must, anomalies, agree that factors, it had found significance outweigh, in the factors, to justify a capital sentence. The reason why I want to bang that penalty, because of someone, has served 20 years. So 20 years in jail, in prison. And then they found out who the real killer was. But that means who the real killer was, who did the crime that the man served 20 years for. So the meaning is innocent man has served 20 years. And now, this is my point. If they would have give him that penalty, you know, uh, an innocent man life would have been taken. So that's why, I urge to have this death penalty ban. Because if you don't have real proof, we got to be careful. Because this man served 20 years, for a crime he did not commit. And then when he came out, you know, so they had to let him out because they found the real killer. But the point is he served 20 years. And thank God they did not give him the death penalty because that would have been an innocent man's life would have been taken. So that's why I decided to come up with this, to save another person from death penalty. So we have to be careful giving someone death penalty. So now in a crime, so now these days, when they commit a crime, 9 out of 10 is on camera to video. So now we have real, you got to have real proof, a crime before death penalty. You got to have real proof now to have death penalty, because everything on video, you got to have a witness, or they have to admit that they did this crime, in order to have death penalty. No more death. I ban any death penalty without these real proof, because no one should have to serve, that many years of a crime that they did not commit. Now these following, death penalty: kidnapping, hunches, resulting in death, and murder. The state of the law enforcement, a person for death penalty. So where there's no real evidence of proof, no one should be having death penalty. So I ban death penalty. For anyone, you got to have real proof to put this kind of penalty on someone's head. So that's the story on I bang death penalty because innocent people is getting served for a crime they didn't commit. And sometimes they get the death penalty, and sometimes it be an innocent person. So now we're gonna talk about history. This still History Month. But we're gonna talk about the University of Hip Hop Museum. So I talk about this coming hip hop. March the 27th of last year. But it will open in 2024. So now hip hop is everything. Every day is hip hop. The meaning of their life. So University Hip Hop Museum will be in New York City, will be history, so go and get the knowledge, of hip hop. So you have rap legend, Ice-T. Hip hop started in the Bronx, in New York, in the mid 70s, and then you have Rocket. Rocket was known as Cool DJ Rock. But today, he the executive director of the University Hip Hop Museum. Um, so the first time, you know, we really heard hip hop was on the radio, and it was with Sugar Hill Gang, you got had Salt and Pepper, LL Cool J, the rapper Delight came out, so you have all these Ryan MDC, had all these rappers. It was like in the mid 70s, so hip hop is not just the music, it's not just the rap, it's a living, breathing culture that embodies them. The museum represent that the last element of hip hop, because it passing on knowledge, so everyone that comes here to the museum, there's something about hip hop that intoxicated. It's a type of an art form that is unique, but it's not untouchable. So people in hip hop basically use their creative expression, to reflect the surrounding of their community. And sometimes, they rap the words and we become their life or their life struggle. And then just bring it to life, bring it to reality. So the beauty of the culture is that it's continue to evolve based on the accurate, circumstances in every one community. So New York City is getting its first museum, of hip hop, University Hip Hop Museum. To create a new way to imagine the history and the knowledge, of hip hop. We're opening in 2024. So we're gonna be looking forward, to this hip hop museum. It will be opened up next year in 2024. So that's the story of the history of University Hip Hop Museum. So now we're gonna talk about the past and the deport of Richard Belzer. So give him my condolences to Mr. Richard, who departed today, February 19th, 2030. He was an American actor, stand-up comedian, and he was best known for his role as BPT detective, NYPD. So detective surgeon and DA investigator. He was all these things, John Marsh, whom he put perpetrate as a regular cast member. So on the NBCA police drama series Homicide, Life on the Street, and the Law and Order, that special victim unit. That's what he played on for so many years, as well as in guest appearance on several other series. So he been around. He been acting for a while and been in several places, and his long coming was Law and Order. So that's the last time I saw him played on. So he perpetrated the character for 23 years, from 1993, to retire in 2016. So he was born August the 4th, 1944. He was aged 78 years old, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and he died today, February 19th of 2030. You know, so he did his part, living a full life, doing what he had loved to do. So we talk about three stories today. We talk about obeying death penalty. We have to have real proof, real evidence that they did this crime. And that was have it on video, have a witness, or if they commit this crime themselves. Other than that, they should not, no one should not be getting death penalty. Because someone be serving so many years for a crime they did not commit. And if that person, thank God that person have not got death penalty. Because an innocent person life would have been taken. So that's the reason why I came up with that. So we also talk about the history of University Hip Hop Museum. It will be coming out next year, 2024. So we'll be looking forward to seeing it. You will go there and get knowledge and understanding of the hip hop. Their rap. Their rap means something of their life struggle. You know, and so we ought to be getting knowledge on hip hop. Once you go to the museum and they're still setting it up, and it should be ready by next year. And so we also talking about uh, Mr. Richard Belzer, who departed today. He was on a long series of Law and Order, you know, and he departed today. He was a great actor, you know, he perpetrated that character for a long time, for the 23 years, we gonna miss him on show, but he did retire in 2016. They said, but he still played as a long time, from 1993 to 2016. So that was a long time. He perpetrated a character on a drama series, a Law and Order, and other shows, and he was guessing on several other shows and stuff, So we're gonna miss him, and so these three stories I talk about. So that's all the news I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed day, and I see y'all in the next video.